Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Product Coalition podcast. It's great to bring another guest forward for you for the Sydney-based podcast series. Gavin Rae, welcome.
Thank you.
Looking forward to talking about loving product management from the outside and diverse experiences that have brought you into the world of product along your career. Looking forward to get stuck into that. First, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to Brainmates as the location host for this Sydney-based series. Brainmates is a product management training and consulting team based in Australia, New Zealand and Denver in USA. Find out more about Brainmates' 3-day course for product folks on the 9th of December in Denver at brainmates.com.au. If you've just discovered the Product Coalition, welcome. We're a global product management community that started out as a publication at productcoalition.com back in 2014. Product Coalition is a Slack community of over 5,000 product managers globally. It's free to join. Grab an invite at productcoalition.com. If you'd like to watch this podcast of Gavin and I, feel free to do so on YouTube. Search for Product Coalition and you'll find this one. And Product Coalition is funded 100% by community support. So if you'd like to support the podcast, the publication or the community, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/productco. Great to have you here, Gavin.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to this. It's great to have a fellow Brit on board.
Of
we managed to slip two in the Melbourne series, one in the Sydney series, which is great. For all the guests, we've been kicking off with a Sydney pub quiz. So how long has Sydney been home for you, Gavin?
About 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're probably one of the sort of fresher Sydney siders that I've had on this. So let's get going. We're going to kick off with the Opera House. Average audience attendance of the Sydney Opera House. How many people, bums on seats, per year?
150,000.
Good thing you're not in charge of ticketing. 2 million.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Divide that by 365. It's quite a few.
Yeah.
Have you been into the Opera House?
Yeah, I have actually. I actually went to watch a couple of gigs there. I went to see a Scottish comedian, Kevin Bridges. He was there, which was excellent.
Right. Funnily enough, Dom, who was also on the show, saw a comedian as well in the Sydney Opera House. Seems to be more of a comedy venue than an opera venue, it seems, for a lot of people.
Definitely.
Brilliant. Okay, next up, we've got, let's see, between 1788 and 1792, how many convicts were living in Sydney?
Wow. 1,000.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's a better guess. It's 4,300.
I'm happy with that guess.
Sent over here for rather than incarceration back in Pommyland. Okay, lastly, there was once a famous painter that used to paint. It was permanently employed painting the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And he quickly became a very famous Australian celebrity. Who might that celebrity be that used to paint the Sydney Harbour Bridge?
Yeah, wow. Dame Edna.
He's an entertainer. Mick Dundee, Paul Hogan.
Oh, yeah, wow.
There you go.
Legend.
He was actually, there was a Mick Dundee impersonator down at Circular Quay on the weekend. I got my photo taken with. So it's good to see that celebrity or that character still being milked by Australian tourism. That's good. Been a Sydney sider for 5 years now. What's your favourite spot by the water?
We're out in eastern suburbs, so we're out Pagewood, next to Maroubra and Coogee and Bondi. So
right, lovely.
Beautiful part of the world. And my wife grew up in Maroubra, and that's actually my favourite beach. I love going to Maroubra.
Really?
Kids down there, so yeah, I love it down there.
Beautiful. It's funny, everyone who's been on this show has had a different spot.
Yeah.
So it's great. Everyone's got something personal to them, and
so
many for me to tick off. Yeah. What's your most favourite sort of meet-up or event or conference in Sydney?
I try and get along to as many as you can, but having family can be difficult. Leading the product, Brainmates, what they do. Obviously, their conference, kudos to them. They do very well with that conference. I was at the latest one. I've been for the last few years.
Right.
And it's it's getting bigger and really slick organisation. I thought it was really good. I always go to that.
Fantastic.
There's a few product meetups we go to. we run a small one ourselves for product leaders, but yeah. There's lots going on.
It's a good community. It's very tight. It's great to see, even just setting up this podcast series in Sydney, everyone sort of knows everyone or is one degree away in terms of connections.
Yeah, it is a small world, small community for sure.
Yeah, but it's nice that it's all warm and welcoming, regardless of competitors from consulting firms or any of that stuff. It's,
of course.
It's friendly, which is great. Okay, let's get stuck into it. So we're going to, in this episode, talk about loving product management from the outside, and I'm really keen to hear your background, a career path, because I know it's certainly, I doubt we're going to find two of you in the world that have got to this point in terms of how you found your way into product from where you started. So kick us off. Where did you start, Gavin?
I was very lucky to be a professional sportsman for about 20 years. So I left when I was growing up, I grew up in Aberdeen, Scotland. Left school at about 15 and played professional football, soccer for about 20 years.
Right.
So yeah, done that for 20 years, and then I was very lucky to play for my nation. Play for Scotland. I played against some fantastic players and some fantastic clubs, and played with some huge clubs as well. So it was a great career. I absolutely loved it. My wife lived in the UK with me for 12 years, always with the sort of aim to, when I finished playing professionally, retire and move to Sydney and bring my wife back home to her family.
Right.
So that was always a plan.
Yep.
So done that in 2014.
Right.
So I retired in 2014 May and emigrated in September.
Wow.
So yeah, it was like a few months later.
Stuck to your promise.
Yeah, and it was always. I mean, I'm from Aberdeen, which is a good city, but it's so cold. I had the choice of Aberdeen or Sydney, and it's difficult. When your wife's from Sydney to sort of say, no, we're staying in Aberdeen. So she'd done the UK for 12 years, which is fine, and I was obviously more than happy to move to Sydney, which is a great city.
Brilliant.
So yeah, came out here, and because I left school at 15, I didn't really have any other further education. I didn't even have time to go to university or college or anything. So it was pretty much straight into football. And during football, I was doing a little bits here and there, but never had the sort of dedication or time to dedicate myself to doing something else.
Right.
Apart from playing football, because I had to really concentrate on that. So came here and then was here for about, 6 to 8 weeks. We got the kids settled into school.
Yep.
No job. We had a house here. It was just like, yeah, right. What happens now, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I need to get a real job.
Yep.
So I ended up applying for a few roles and ended up in technology recruitment.
Right.
So my boss at Evolution, Liam McDade, who's still a director at Evolution Recruitment, he took a chance on me basically, and it was more about the transferable skills. I'd been captain at all my clubs. The ability to sort of speak to senior stakeholders. He wanted me to work the project management and business analysis sort of desk. And I was like, more than happy to give it a bash. And it was really difficult, to be honest, because I never worked in an office in my life.
Yeah.
So I was like, went from, 2-hour days, 3-hour days playing sport as a job to full-time in an office, which was really difficult to get used to. I used to have to always take breaks and go outside and get some fresh air.
Yeah.
You become more accustomed to it and get used to it. But yeah, I ended up in technology recruitment for a project. And then, so I'd done that for about 14, 15 months, and then discovered product.
Right.
So I don't know how it came, I can't remember exactly how it came about, but there was a product management role going with someone, and I ended up working that role, and I was thinking, this is really cool discipline, like I love this. So then I said to my boss, listen, is it all right if I sort of work product management instead of project? And he was like, well, like, what is it? It's the same. Everyone, try to describe exactly what it is. It can be difficult, and everyone's got different names for it. But yeah, so that must have been about 3.5 years ago. Right. And since then, I've been in product. I've just stuck in it. And it's similar to people that actually are hands-on practitioners. Like, once you become a product manager, you very rarely leave that to go and do something else, because once you realize how good a role it is, you sort of stick in it. And that's similar to me, So I work with product people all the time, and I love that. So then, I've been working product management since then, basically. And as I say, I'm not a hands-on practitioner. I've sat through training, I understand it, and I obviously know the community very well in Sydney.
Brilliant.
And that's where I am now.
Can I ask, is there any emotions or experiences on the day-to-day of product management that you get that same type of feeling that you used to get being on the field or in training?
I think it's always difficult to replicate exactly what I had in sport, and I think once you sort of understand that and realise it's difficult to really get that buzz that I did have, because it was phenomenal. I mean, to be able to play sport, full time was amazing. But yeah, seeing people with, the passion for their products that they brought to market, that still gives me a buzz. People are really passionate about their craft, and again, people that really want to enhance this community. I mean, that's what the company I work for now, TIGA, and what we run is exactly about that. It's about, it's a business. We are a business, of course, but we want to enhance the product community here in Sydney. Our mothership back in France, I've done exactly the same there, very well renowned in Paris. And we're trying to do the same here, and it's everyone within the product community is doing their bit to help that, and we just want to be part of that and try and help as well.
Superb. So product management, as you mentioned, is so often assumed to be a product manager, a person embedded, lives and breathes and employed by an organisation. But consulting firms clearly add value for organisations that might otherwise not get products off the ground. Could you tell me a little bit about what's your view on the role a consultant can play in terms of delivering product management as a skill set, a mindset, and also, I suppose, product delivery and delivering products to market?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's exactly, that's what we do now, and I'm very passionate about that, of course. We, as a company, TIGA, we provide what we think expert product people to companies to help them with that product delivery, whether it's helping with the higher level, like frameworks and strategies and prioritization, whether it's that or whether it's actual hands-on practitioner of products and delivering the digital products. A lot of companies, there is pushback because they think it should be a full-time employee, and I obviously understand that. But within Sydney and I imagine a few places around the world, sometimes it's difficult to hire product people. Everyone's thinking the same, we're desperate for product people. So sometimes a client will, try and hire someone full time and they just can't get someone, and then I'll reach out to them, or they'll reach out to me and say, listen, who have you got? And why not take a somebody that's got really good expert product knowledge, that have normally 6 to 8 years product management experience across multiple domains, that can help you deliver your product. I mean, why not? I totally understand that, people would prefer full-time employees, understandable, and certainly ones that have got specific knowledge, whether it's in payments or, technical product management, understand that. But the actual skills of a product manager are definitely transferable. One of our product people can go into any sort of environment, add value quickly, and help them deliver a digital product. So there's definitely, advantages to using a consultant who we've vetted already, so you don't have to do that. You just basically give us a shout and we'll help you,
I'm hearing you talking about you're helping them put their best foot forward in a lot of those instances, about getting it established, getting it right. How do you find then, as a consultant, pulling away from it?
Yeah, it's a great question, and a lot of the people I speak to, daily, people are interested in what we do. I've got to sort of point that out, that they maybe won't see the full product life cycle from start all the way through to delivery, and then obviously feature enhancements and iterations. But what they will do is be able to add value quickly to a company and help them get on that next level and see lots of different domains quickly. We've got one consultant that was 7 years at one company, 4 years at another, and in 1 year with us, he's had 4 assignments. So he's seen 4 different products in 4 different domains in that time, and he's loving it. But you've got to have that mindset that is what you want to do. So
I imagine there's definitely people out there that live, breathe, and love a particular vertical, and that's where they want to be. But there's also those that want to diversify and be more T-shaped.
Definitely. And also it can help with your career. Like, you can, do it for 2-3 years and see all these different products, see all these different things and where you want to maybe end up, get to that level, and then go and stick somewhere where you find a company that you really love their products and you want to help them and stay there for a few years. But in the meantime, the skills you can learn within that and within that time is definitely beneficial.
When you're recruiting for product managers as a consulting firm, what are you looking for that's different to someone recruiting for a product manager as an employee?
Yeah, it's more about so we look for people that have had multiple domain experience, knowledge previously, strong stakeholder skills. Of course, as a product manager, you should have that anyway. But it's more about that candidate really wanting to be a consultant, or knowing that they're going to be a consultant for that time, and open to that. Like we say, about not maybe just specifying on one product for not a long time, but a long time. And people that have got 6 to 8 years experience. So if you've got that, and then you're obviously looking for them they want to be consultative. It's a very competitive market to try and find people. In Sydney that I've got all that going on and really want to be a consultant. So it's challenging for us, like it is for clients, of course. But there's some fantastic product people in Sydney, some fantastic product companies. I just don't think there's enough. We just want more. We just want more. More people in the market, more great companies, and that's what we're obviously aiming for and trying to enhance the community, the same as everyone else in the community. Yeah.
And for someone like yourself, really diverse background in terms of entering this space. There's and I hear it quite often when it comes to product management, people come from very different backgrounds, and it's not looking for there's no traditional route like accounting or bookkeeping or etc. How would you suggest someone that might be, I don't know, a yoga instructor, for instance, who is interested in this space? What's the first steps? Because for you, it was a massive change. You almost had, I could imagine, nothing to lose. You're on the other side of the world, brand new family, new house, everything's new. So new job sort of complemented the outfit. But what's that scary first step that could be hard to get past? Yeah,
I think it's probably the same just with anything. You've just got to, listen to podcasts, read books, do courses, research online, and then just get out there and do it, and if you can do it on the side, then do a little bit on the side. I mean, as I say, I'm not a product manager by trade or a hands-on practitioner. It's kind of funny, like if I'd not played football, I'd have loved to have been a full-time PM.
Right.
I don't know because I'm a bit older, I don't know whether, now taking that step change and actually becoming a PM is, as attractive as if I could rewind the clock and do a little bit before, so then I could get some real experience.
Right.
But yeah, if I do the training, I've done a few different courses, our own as well. So yeah, there's definitely ways into it if it is something, but just get out and do it is probably the biggest thing.
Right, okay. One of the points we wanted to talk about in this session was mental health in tech. And for me, this is almost a bit of a transition from that point around being brave in the mind, to make that first leap, read a book, listen to a podcast and get started. There's a number of initiatives and things going on in the mental health space for technology. Could you just start talking to me about that? Why is that relevant to you and meaningful to you? And what are you seeing and doing in that space?
Yeah, I mean, it's relevant to me in the tech space because that's the space I'm in at the moment. Wherever I was working, it's still something to be relevant. Towards the end of my career in sport, it was starting to become more prevalent there. There's still a massive stigma attached around mental health and not enough people speaking about it. It's getting better. Everyone's getting better, and we're trying to push it on, of course. There's lots of good initiatives. But again, we just need to continue to be able to speak about it. I done a small presentation at one of our meetups, Product Leaders Club, a couple of weeks ago, just about my sort of inner circle of friends, colleagues, and business associates. And, the percentage of people that I know have small mental health issues was big, for a very small sort of group. And that's the only ones I know about. So, that's the ones that are comfortable speaking to me and telling me about these things. And so there'll be more, behind the scenes that are not willing to speak about it or not comfortable speaking about it yet. And that's something that I'd love more people to be open about. I don't know why, but I just feel compelled to try and help people that have got these issues. I was captain for every single team I was at some point, so I don't know if it was just like natural. I can speak to people, and I want to speak to people and try and help them.
Yep.
So we're gonna again. There's lots of initiatives, but I'd love to get another one out there where I'm going to meet with a few people in the tech community and just decide what's the best sort of approach, and how do we help. What can we do to set up? What can we set up to try and help people within the tech community? Because there's bound to be people struggling, and if someone wants to speak to me, confidentially, and I'd love to help someone, and just be a sounding board. It's similar to what I've done with the people, within my family and friends group, is just tell them that, you're there to sort of listen to them and speak to them if they need help, and if they want to chat about it, and even just doing that can help them massively. And that's something, I think everyone is definitely trying to push mental health and the stigma away from it. But I think there's still obviously a long way to go.
When I think about my own personal career experience, much like yourself, moving to the other side of the world, I know when I was at my most vulnerable, I would say, from a mental health perspective, was as a brand new immigrant, when you don't have that close, tight
support
knit
network,
mates down the pub who you can just tell you've had a bad week with, and so you tend to carry things around a little bit longer. Plus the whole experience of moving to a brand new country, it's, if I think about like the first few months, it's way high. It's all brand new, and experience feels a bit like a holiday. And then all of a sudden it starts to feel like you get your tax file number and you're going to work, and it starts to feel more like just day-to-day real life. And you have then your first bad week in your new job, in your new country, and your new mates, and you don't have the depth of relationship to bounce off people. When I think about product management and as a job, it is so transient and so many people moving. I know who I've interviewed through the Product Coalition that have changed countries for jobs, etc. Is there anything that, with regards to moving to a new country and mental health, that you wasn't expecting, that you wish you could have thought about a bit more, or not worried about so much, etc.?
I was quite lucky because my wife's Australian, so we had a support network here. So we had an actual people here. I'd been to Australia since 2002, back and forth, every summer or every off season for me, every winter for Australia. But we had friends here already, so I was quite lucky in that side. Definitely, if you've not got that, it can be difficult. And there's lots of groups that are set up to help new people when they come to new cities and new countries. But I suppose it's being comfortable to go and again put yourself out there to be able to go and attend these sort of things if that's what you like. The biggest thing just now, the world's just so fast. Everyone's just so busy. Nobody really takes time just to themselves and just sort of look after themselves. And we're all guilty of it, myself included, of course. It's just there's just so much stuff going on. If you've got family and work and social life and social media, there's just so much going on. So it's about just trying to take time and just sort of relax and enjoy it, especially if you're living somewhere like Sydney in Australia, and just enjoy this beautiful country. It's such a good place to live. So we should really just be trying to enjoy it more. But I've never worked as hard in my life, you know what I mean? Okay. So I'm in the office early and then out late because Tiga as a company, as a startup, and we're trying to obviously establish our brand here in Sydney. So it's long days, and you just got to. Sometimes I just say to myself, if it's not mission critical, just get out of the building. You normally say to product managers, get out of the building and talk to your customers. Just get out of the building yourself and just go home and just chill. So
look after you.
Definitely, and everyone should do that a bit more as well, I think.
Yeah, well, huge credit to you for making such a jump in careers. That's massive. I mean, not having to wash wet, cold football boots must be quite nice, though.
It's a long time since I've done that. In the YTS, they've actually stopped doing that. I don't know why they don't let the kids clean the boots of the adults or the pros. Really? The government banned it for some reason, where I had to go through it and clean the stand. But good discipline for sure.
And I'm sure you don't miss frozen pitches on a Saturday or Sunday morning either. No,
I mean, I've got twins and both of them play football, and sometimes I go and watch the games, and in the winter it can still be a little bit chilly, and I'm thinking, like, I've got to sort of check myself and say, listen, my mum and dad, when they were at home watching me in the winter, is a bit different to this. It's still a beautiful sunny day, I'm like, yeah, just got to relax and enjoy it.
Become a big softie.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks so much for talking through all things product from an outsider's perspective, for not being a practitioner, and a range of topics, Gavin. It's been great.
No problem. Thank you.
It's been great to hear from someone who's had such a diverse background and being able to make a leap into something. But I'm really happy for you that you found your people again twice in life. That's good to hear. Thanks everyone for listening to another episode of the Product Coalition podcast. Thank you to Gavin Rae for joining us from Tiga, and thank you to Brainmates from a location hosting perspective. Hope you've enjoyed this Sydney-based episode of the Product Coalition podcast, and I look forward to sharing another guest with you soon. Thanks, Gavin.
Thanks.
Cheers, mate.
Yep.